Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the hidden stories, history, and shocking values behind coins you might already have lying rarest coins. Today, we're exploring one of the most talked about coins in American numismatics, the 1965 Washington quarter. Now, you may have heard the rumors. People say this simple quarter could be worth not just a few bucks, not just a few hundred or a few thousand, but up to $1.9 million. That's right. One coin, one quarter, $1.25 shy of a buck, potentially worth nearly $2 million. Is that even possible? What's the story behind it? And how do you know if your 1965 quarter is one of these rare and extremely valuable pieces? Let's break it all down, from the history and changes in U.S. coinage at the time, to the rare errors that make collectors go wild, and finally, whether these million-dollar claims hold any weight at all. This is the full story of the 1965 Washington quarter. Let's begin with a bit of history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of America's first president, George Washington. It featured his profile on the obverse, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. From 1932 through 1964, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But in 1965, something big happened that changed U.S. coins forever. That year, the U.S. Mint removed silver from the quarter entirely. This was due to rising silver prices and a growing shortage of silver for coin production. Starting in 1965, quarters were struck in a clad composition made of copper sandwiched between two layers of nickel. This change made the coins look similar to their silver predecessors, but dramatically reduced their intrinsic value. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because 1965 was such a transition year, a few strange things happened at the Mint. Some collectors and experts believe that a very small number of 1,965 quarters were accidentally struck on 1964 silver planchets. In other words, blank coins left over from the previous year that were made of 90% silver. These are extremely rare and highly valuable if genuine. But even more intriguing are the claims of certain error coins from 1965 that have fetched staggering prices due to their rarity, condition, or combination of both. Let's talk value. Most 1965 quarters you'll find in pocket change are only worth face value. Even in slightly better condition, they may only bring $1 or $2 from collectors. But when you get into high grades and rare errors, the value skyrockets. Mint State 1965 quarters graded MS65 or higher can sell for between $50 and $500 depending on demand and condition. But it's the extremely rare examples, the ones struck on silver planchets, or those with unique minting errors, that have created the million-dollar buzz. There are stories circulating of 1965 Washington quarters selling or being valued at over $1 million. With some online sources and dealers claiming values of up to $1.9 million. While this may sound unbelievable, there's a reason for it. One of the most famous examples of a 1965 quarter was authenticated as being struck on a silver planchet, graded by a top-tier grading company and sold at auction for tens of thousands of dollars. The rarity and mystery surrounding these coins continue to fuel speculation that an uncirculated, flawless example could potentially shatter auction records. What makes a 1965 quarter worth thousands, or even more? First, the material. If the coin was mistakenly struck on a 1964 silver planchet, that instantly sets it apart. These silver error coins weigh more than the typical 5.67 grams of the copper-nickel clad version. A silver 1965 quarter weighs about 6.25 grams. If you suspect your quarter might be one of these, weighing it accurately with a digital scale is your first step. Second, the condition. Coins that are in pristine condition, never circulated, and show no signs of wear are far more valuable. Collectors and investors pay huge premiums for coins graded MS67, MS68, or higher by respected grading companies like PCGS or NGC. A top-graded silver planchet error from 1965 with impeccable surfaces and strike, could be the kind of coin that collectors would fight over in an auction. Third, the error type. Besides the silver planchet strikes, other known errors from 1965 include off-center strikes, double dice, and struck-through errors. While not as rare as the silver coins, these can still bring impressive prices in the right condition. Now, let's address the million-dollar question directly. Is there a confirmed 1965 quarter that has sold for $1.9 million? As of now, there is no verified public auction sale of a 1965 Washington quarter that has reached that level. The million-dollar claims are often based on projected value, speculative market interest, or promotional hype. That said, rare coins with unique characteristics have a long history of reaching record-breaking prices when collectors with deep pockets get involved. If the right coin appeared, say, a 1965 quarter struck on a silver planchet, in flawless condition, and with an added mint error, it's not impossible for it to hit the million-dollar mark under the right circumstances. So what should you do if you think you have a rare 1965 quarter? First, check the date and inspect the coin for signs of unusual material, weight, or errors. Use a precision scale to weigh it. Silver quarters weigh more than their clad counterparts. If the coin seems unusually heavy or looks different in color or shine, it could be worth investigating. Next, take it to a professional. Get the coin authenticated and graded by a respected service. Without professional grading, it's nearly impossible to sell a coin for its maximum value. Finally, keep it protected. Store it in a coin holder or slab and avoid touching the surfaces with your bare fingers. In conclusion, the 1965 Washington quarter is more than just pocket change. Most are common and only worth a few cents over face value. But a rare few, especially those with minting errors or struck on leftover silver planchets, can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more. While the stories of a $1.9 million quarter might sound too good to be true, the world of coin collecting has seen stranger things. And if you're lucky enough to find the right coin in the right condition at the right time, you just might become part of numismatic history. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting or helpful, make sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below telling us what rare coins you've come across. You never know, the next million-dollar coin could be sitting in your pocket right now. Closing shot. Slow motion of coins spinning and falling onto a table, soft fade to black with text. Happy hunting. Let me know if you'd like this formatted for a voiceover script, or if you want separate scripts for short clips or TikTok-style videos. Welcome back to the Rarest Coins. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked about coins in the modern U.S. coin collecting world. It's a coin most people would overlook. A simple quarter, just 25 cents. But this specific coin, the 1990 D Washington quarter, has captured national attention for claims that it might be worth over $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.3 million for a single quarter that could be sitting in your pocket change right now. So what makes this coin so special, and is the million-dollar price tag fact or fiction? Let's get into the fascinating world of the 1990 D Washington quarter. To understand why this quarter is making headlines, we first need to look at the history behind it. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 as a commemorative coin honoring the 200th birthday of George Washington. It replaced the standing Liberty quarter and has been in continuous production ever since. The portrait of Washington on the obverse, originally designed by John Flanagan, has become one of the most iconic American coin images of all time. By 1990, the coin had long transitioned from silver to a copper-nickel-clad composition, and the Denver Mint had struck millions of them. Over 927 million 1990 D quarters were minted. So what could possibly make one of those worth over $1 million? This is where things get really interesting. Not all 1990 D quarters are created equal. Most are only worth their face value, maybe slightly more in pristine condition. But a small number of these coins were struck with errors or anomalies that dramatically increase their value to collectors. These errors can include things like double dies, die clashes, off-center strikes, and more. And when these errors are rare enough, and the coin is in exceptionally high condition, collectors are sometimes willing to pay huge amounts to get their hands on them. One of the most well-known error types reported in the 1990 D Washington quarter involves a double die mint mark. This occurs when the mint mark is accidentally stamped twice, slightly offset, creating a doubled appearance that is visible under magnification. Another error found on some 1990 D quarters is known as a die clash. That happens when the coin dies strike each other without a blank coin between them, leaving behind ghost images of the opposite design. There's also the so-called spitting eagle error, where a small die chip appears near the eagle's beak, making it look like the eagle is spitting. These errors, when authentic, can increase a coin's value tremendously, especially when found in high mint state condition. Now, let's talk about the million-dollar claim. Some sources and online sellers have promoted a specific 1990 D quarter with multiple rare error features as being worth up to $1.3 million. That's a mind-blowing number for a coin that millions of people may have handled without a second thought. These claims often stem from speculation or exaggerated listings meant to generate buzz or test the market. As of now, no confirmed sale has reached that amount. However, there have been sales of high-grade 1990 D error quarters that fetched thousands of dollars. For example, an MS-67 grade error coin with a rare die clash or double die may bring in anywhere from several hundred to a few $1,000s at auction. And that's not just wishful thinking. Auction records from trusted grading companies like PCGS and NGC show that coins with verified mint errors and high grades can command serious money. What should you look for if you want to know whether your 1990 D quarter might be one of the rare and valuable ones? First, check the mint mark. Look at the D under the year on the front of the coin and see if it looks doubled or has any unusual shadows or shifts. Use a magnifier if you need to. Next, examine the eagle on the reverse. Look closely around the beak and wings for signs of die chips, cracks, or ghost images that don't belong. Finally, look at the overall condition. Coins that are heavily worn or scratched are much less valuable, even if they do have an error. A coin in uncirculated condition with a confirmed rare error is where the value starts to climb. But if you think you've found a promising example, the next step is to have it professionally graded. Reputable services like PCGS or NGC can evaluate your coin and certify both its authenticity and its condition. This is critical, especially if you're hoping to sell it to a serious collector or dealer. Certified coins generally sell for far more than ungraded ones because buyers can trust exactly what they're getting. But it's also worth remembering that while the idea of finding a million-dollar quarter is exciting, not every error coin will fetch a fortune. Most rare error coins sell for a few $100s, maybe a few thousand, depending on the details. The market can also change over time based on collector interest, supply and demand, and media attention. So while it's always good to stay hopeful and curious, it's just as important to stay realistic and informed. To wrap it all up, the 1990 D Washington quarter is mostly common, but rare variations with specific mint errors in excellent condition can be worth a lot of money. Whether it's worth hundreds or over $1 million depends on the uniqueness of the error, the condition of the coin, and what a collector is willing to pay. As of now, there's no official public sale of a 1990 D quarter for $1.3 million. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. The right coin, in the right condition, at the right moment could absolutely break records. And maybe that coin is sitting in your coin jar right now. So check your pockets. Dig through your old coin collection and don't dismiss any quarter too quickly. You never know when you might be holding a hidden gem worth far more than you imagined. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or exciting, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your fellow collectors. Let us know in the comments if you've ever come across a strange or rare coin. And as always, happy collecting and good luck hunting for that million-dollar quarter. Let me know if you want a voiceover-friendly version or one tailored to a specific video length. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures that could be hiding in your pockets, drawers, or coin jars right now. Today's episode is about one coin that's been making waves in the numismatic community, the 1991 P Washington quarter. A coin that, for most people, is nothing more than 25 cents. But under the right conditions, with the right features, this seemingly ordinary coin has reportedly been valued at up to $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.15 short of $1.25 million. All in one little coin minted in 1991. Let's break down exactly what this coin is, the history behind it, the different varieties and errors that can make it extremely valuable, and what you need to look for to see if you might be holding one of these rare and expensive coins. Let's start with the history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin featured a profile of Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. By 1991, The coin had already gone through many decades of circulation and changes. From 1932 to 1964, quarters were made of 90% silver. But by 1991, the United States Mint had long since switched over to copper-nickel-clad coins due to rising silver prices and metal shortages. The 1991 P quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and features the P Mint mark under the motto, "In God We Trust," on the obverse side. That year, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 570 million Washington quarters. So on the surface, this is not a rare coin. Most 1991 P quarters are still only worth face value if they're worn or have been circulated. But like many coins from that era, it's not about the total number made. It's about the rare errors, variations, and uncirculated specimens that set certain examples apart and send their values soaring. What makes a 1991 P quarter potentially worth a fortune? There are a few key things that collectors and experts look for. First, let's talk about condition. Coins that have never been circulated and show no wear are considered mint state coins. These are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher grades being rarer and more valuable. A 1991 P quarter graded MS67 or MS68 by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But when you combine that kind of condition with a rare minting error, that's when prices can go off the charts. One of the most sought-after errors with this coin involves double dies. This happens during the minting process when the design is accidentally stamped twice at slightly different angles. It can cause letters, numbers, or design elements to appear doubled, especially around the date, the mint mark, or Washington's profile. A strong double die error in high grade is rare and highly valuable. Another major error involves off-center strikes. This occurs when the coin blank is not properly aligned with the dies, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing or shifted. Depending on how far off the strike is and how much of the design is still visible, these errors can be worth a lot of money. The more dramatic the error, the higher the value. There are also known cases of coins being struck on the wrong planchet. That means a quarter was accidentally struck using a blank mint for another coin, like a nickel or even a foreign coin. These are extremely rare and often discovered only by experts who notice differences in weight or appearance. Now here's where the million-dollar conversation comes in. There have been rumors and speculative stories online about a 1991 P quarter selling for or being valued at over $1.2 million. As of now, there is no publicly documented or confirmed auction where a 1991 P quarter has sold for that amount. However, rare coin markets are known for sudden surges, private sales, and highly competitive bidding wars that can drive prices up beyond expectations. Especially for one-of-a-kind or historically significant coins, that it's important to understand that these million-dollar claims often stem from coins that combine several rare qualities at once. We're talking about an uncirculated 1991 P quarter with a unique mint error such as a strong double die or a rare planchet strike, authenticated by a top-tier grading company, and in a condition close to perfection. That's a once-in-a-lifetime combination. And it's not impossible. If such a coin exists, it could absolutely generate enough interest among serious collectors to push into six or even seven-figure territory. So what should you do if you come across a 1991 P quarter and think it might be special? First, check the condition. If it looks clean, sharp, and shows no signs of wear, that's your first green flag. Next, examine the coin carefully with a magnifier. Look for doubling on the letters or numbers, especially the date and mint mark. Check for off-center strikes or any unusual markings that look like die clashes or planchet flaws. Then, weigh the coin. A standard 1991 quarter should weigh around 5.67 grams. If your coin is heavier or lighter, it may have been struck on the wrong type of blank. If you notice anything unusual or believe your coin might be valuable, your next step is to send it in to a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC. They will professionally authenticate, grade, and encapsulate your coin. This step is essential if you want to sell the coin or find out its true market value. Buyers and collectors pay top dollar only for coins that have been officially graded and certified. In summary, the 1991 P Washington quarter is usually just another coin in your pocket. But rare examples with specific mint errors or exceptional condition can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even, under the right circumstances, over $1 million. While the $1.2 million price tag might sound unbelievable, history has shown that the rare coin market is full of surprises, and a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and collector demand can create moments of jaw-dropping value. So don't toss that quarter too quickly. Take a second look. Examine it. Weigh it. Inspect every detail. You just might be holding on to something far more valuable than you ever imagined. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1991 P. Washington quarter, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or have questions about your collection. And remember, treasure is everywhere. All you have to do is look. Closing shot. Soft fade out with text overlay. Check your change. You could be rich. As music fades, let me know if you want an alternate version for TikTok, Instagram Reels, or short-form content. Welcome back to the channel where we uncover rare treasures hidden in everyday places. If you've ever thought the change in your pocket was just spare money, you might want to think again. Today, we're focusing on a coin that's been gaining serious attention among collectors. We're talking about the 1995 D. Washington quarter. Now, for most people, this coin is just 25 cents. But under the right circumstances, this simple piece of metal could be worth up to $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.1 million for a quarter that you may have handled without even thinking twice. Let's explore why this coin is creating so much buzz, what makes it valuable, the history behind it, and how to know if you're holding on to a rare and valuable 1995 D quarter. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932, originally to celebrate the 200th birthday of America's first president, George Washington. The design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, features a left-facing bust of Washington on the obverse. On the reverse, for coins minted from 1932 to 1998, you'll find the iconic eagle with outstretched wings clutching arrows and olive branches. It's a design that's deeply ingrained in American coinage history. By 1995, the quarter was being minted in its copper-nickel-clad form, which had replaced silver coinage back in 1965 due to rising metal costs. The 1995 D quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, and it features a small letter D beneath the motto, "In God We Trust," on the obverse side of the coin. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 1.1 billion quarters. So at first glance, it seems like there's nothing rare or valuable about this coin. But as any serious collector knows, rarity isn't just about how many coins were made. It's about how many exist in top condition, how many contain minting errors, and how many slip through the cracks with strange or rare anomalies that make them valuable to the right buyer. And the 1995 D quarter has several of those factors working in its favor. One of the most important things to understand is that coin value starts with condition. A coin in mint state, meaning it has never been circulated and shows no signs of wear, is already going to be worth more than a circulated version. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. And a coin that's graded MS67 or MS68 is going to bring a much higher price than one graded MS60 or lowered. A 1995 D quarter in average circulated condition is typically worth around 25 cents to $1, depending on demand. But in mint state condition, values can jump significantly. A top-grade MS68 example of this coin has sold for over $1,000 at auction. And if a coin has a rare error or variety, that value increases even more. Now, let's talk about the real attention grabber, the story behind the $1.1 million value. Some coin collectors and online sources have claimed that an ultra-rare version of the 1995 D quarter, possibly with a dramatic mint error or struck on the wrong planchet, could be valued at up to $1.1 million. While no public auction has confirmed a sale at that level for this specific coin, it's not unheard of in the coin world for rare one-of-a-kind pieces to reach astronomical prices under the right circumstances. What kind of features would make a 1995 D quarter that valuable? It could be a double die error, where the coin's design appears doubled in areas like the date, the word liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust." These types of errors are rare and highly sought after by collectors. Another possibility is an off-center strike, where the coin blank wasn't properly aligned during minting, resulting in part of the design being cut off. Then there are coins struck on the wrong metal, like a quarter accidentally struck on a nickel or dime planchet. These are extremely rare but have happened in other years and denominations. Even a die cap error, where a coin becomes stuck to the die and leaves a ghost-like impression on subsequent coins, could create a highly valuable piece. Combine that kind of error with perfect condition and strong collector demand, and suddenly that $1.1 million claim doesn't sound so far-fetched. But how do you know if your 1995 D quarter is one of these valuable coins? First, check the condition. If your coin is heavily worn, it's unlikely to be worth much more than face value. But if it looks uncirculated, with sharp details and no scratches or discoloration, you may have something worth looking into. Next, look for errors. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling on the letters or numbers. Look at the edges and rims of the coin. Is the design off-center? Is the reeded edge missing? Does the coin feel too light or too heavy? These could all be signs that you're holding something rare. And finally, if you do suspect you have a rare coin, the next step is to have it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. These are the gold standards in coin authentication and grading. A certified coin can fetch far more at auction because it comes with proof of authenticity, grade, and error designation. In summary, the 1995 D Washington quarter is a common coin with over 1 billion produced, but certain examples in perfect condition or with dramatic mint errors can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even, according to collector speculation, over $1 million. While the $1.1 million figure is not tied to a publicly verified sale, it's within the realm of possibility in a market where rarity and condition rule everything. Coin collecting is filled with surprises, and new discoveries happen all the time. So before you spend that next quarter, take a closer look. You could be holding a tiny treasure that's worth far more than you ever imagined. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your coin discoveries in the comments. Who knows, maybe someone in this very community is holding the next $1 million quarter. Until next time, keep looking, keep learning, and happy collecting. Let me know if you want this adapted into a shorter version for TikTok or Reels, or if you'd like a visual storyboard to go with the script. Welcome back to the channel, where spare change could mean serious cash. Today, we're talking about a quarter that might be hiding in plain sight. It's the 1987 D Washington quarter. It looks ordinary, feels ordinary, and millions of people have probably spent one without a second thought. But under the right conditions, this 25-cent coin could be worth a staggering $1.4 million. That's right, $1.4 million for a coin you could find in your change jar. While that kind of price is rare and certainly not the norm, certain 1987 D quarters with extremely unique characteristics could fetch huge money. So what makes this coin special? Why is it so valuable in rare cases? And how can you find out if your quarter is one of them? Let's start with the backstory. The Washington quarter has been a cornerstone of American currency since 1932. Originally designed by John Flanagan to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the coin featured Washington's profile on the obverse and a heraldic eagle on the reverse. From 1932 to 1964, these quarters were made of 90% silver. But starting in 1965, due to rising silver prices and a national coin shortage, the U.S. Mint removed silver from quarters and began using a copper-nickel-clad composition. Fast forward to 1987. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 655 million Washington quarters bearing the D Mint mark. On the surface, this is a high mintage coin and considered common in circulated condition. Most of these coins were used in everyday transactions, spent at gas stations, vending machines, and stores across the country. So what's the deal? Why would anyone pay 6 or even 7 figures for a 1987 D quarter? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and errors. While the majority of 1987 D quarters are only worth face value or slightly more, certain error coins and ultra-high-grade specimens are what send collectors into a frenzy. Let's break it down. First, we have condition. In the coin world, a mint state coin is one that has never been circulated and still has its original luster and detail. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. A 1987 D quarter graded MS-67 or MS-68 by a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC is rare and can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Why? Because out of hundreds of millions produced, only a tiny number survive in perfect or near-perfect condition. Second, we have mint errors, and this is where the real money comes in. Some 1987 D quarters have been found with dramatic minting mistakes. These include off-center strikes, double dies, missing clad layers, and coins struck on the wrong planchet, which means a quarter was accidentally struck using a blank intended for a different coin, like a nickel or a foreign denomination. These types of errors are extremely rare, but when they occur on a coin that's already in high-grade condition, their value multiplies quickly. Now let's talk about the $1.4 million question. There have been unverified claims and strong speculation in the numismatic community about a possible one-of-a-kind 1987 D quarter with a combination of rare traits. These include being struck on a silver planchet, which would be a major minting anomaly considering silver had been phased out from quarters more than 20 years earlier, combined with a possible double die and struck in near-perfect condition. While there is no public record of a 1987 D quarter officially selling at auction for $1.4 million, the idea isn't as far-fetched as it might sound. In recent years, similar coins with the right mix of rarity and condition have brought in six- and even seven-figure bids. Collectors with deep pockets will go to great lengths to acquire one-of-a-kind specimens, especially those with significant minting errors and perfect eye appeal. So how do you know if your 1987 D quarter is worth more than 25 cents? First, examine the condition. Does the coin look fresh and uncirculated? Does it have its original shine with no visible wear? If so, it may be worth sending to a professional grading service. Second, inspect the coin for errors. Use a magnifying glass or a microscope to look closely at the lettering, the date, and the edges. Do you see any doubling in the letters or numbers? Is the design slightly off-center? Are there unusual surface textures or missing details? Does it look like the coin has a silver shine instead of the normal copper-nickel color? These are all signs that you might have something special. Third, weigh the coin. A standard 1987 D quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If yours is significantly heavier or lighter, it could be struck on the wrong type of metal. That alone could make it extremely valuable. And finally, get it graded. Companies like PCGS and NGC offer grading services that will verify your coin's authenticity, grade, and any known errors. A certified coin is far more valuable on the open market than an unverified one. In summary, the 1987 D Washington quarter is a common coin with uncommon potential. While most are only worth face value, a small number of high-grade or error coins are worth serious money. And in very rare cases, the right coin in the right condition with the right error could break into million-dollar territory. So before you toss that old change or roll up your quarters for laundry, take a closer look. You never know when a simple coin could change your life forever. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into rare coin values, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future episodes. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a strange or valuable coin. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, keep checking your change, because treasure is everywhere. You just have to know where to look. Let me know if you'd like help turning this into a short version for TikTok, or if you need a thumbnail title or visual description for your video.